All right, let's get back to Ash versus the Evil Dead with season 2, episode 6. So we got Ball. I don't ever know what to call this guy. It sounds pretty different. Everybody's way of saying it in the show, so I'll just go with Ball. He's getting deeper into this sheriff's mind, turning him on everybody, which is kind of sad. I kind of already touched on this, but I don't see this guy as a bad guy. I just see this guy as someone who obviously already has a bias towards Ash. But at the end of the day, he does have a wife and a kid that he seems to genuinely care about. And here we are having this demon thing get inside his mind so that he can go against them and ultimately lose them. So it's kind of sad, but because it's a comedy show, we're not going to focus on that kind of shit. Although there is some sadder moments in the rest of this season. But we'll get there. So Pablo is turning into the Necronomicon. The book and Pablo are becoming one and the same. So he will actually just be the ancient text himself. A lynch mob comes after Ash here. Ashy slashy. They want him done and gone. So they surround the house, so they're kind of stuck in the house there. We find out that Chet and Cheryl, Ash's sister, seem to have a thing once upon a time. To what extent, we do not know, but we do get Cheryl's return in this episode, which was pretty damn badass to see the actress who played his sister in the first movie here. And I have to say, she looks good. She looks good for her age. I was surprised. Ash refers to what happened to her as being branch banged, which I am pretty upset that I didn't come up with that phrase there, but that was pretty freaking funny. There's a lot of great comedy in these 5 episodes, this whole season. I just finished it last night. I have seen it before, but I do prefer this season to the first season. This one's just so fucking funny and fun and gory and insane. And it just has so many great sequences. And then Cheryl's Deadite. So Cheryl turns back into a Deadite. I shouldn't even say back into, she kind of always was. Because she's using the manipulation of his attachment to his sister and what he's done to her. Although he does say you're still a bitch. So I don't know what their relationship exactly was. But he does seem to care about her to some extent. Whether that's just being his sister. Or if they actually were on and off. Friendly with one another. They're friendly enough that he took her with him, or she took him with her to the cabin. I don't know which way that went, but they were close enough for that to happen. Or maybe they just got stuck in the same car together and was like, oh, you're bringing my brother? I fucking hate that guy. But that's not the impression that I get when she gets branch banged. She does run back into the house and grabs Ash, and he's the first one to listen to her and try to get her out of the house. So they do seem to have some kind of a love for one another. And so he grabs her and he throws her out in front of the mob there, the lynch mob that's waiting for him. And this would have been the perfect moment for the Deadites. And this has happened before for sure, but this one was extremely apparent. It was like the Deadite could have just laid down and not done anything, and Ash would have looked like a murderer. Or it could have popped up as his sister and been like, what are you doing? Don't let him kill me, whatever. She could have easily manipulated that crowd into whatever she wanted to. So why? I get it. It's for the TV show. I get it, but it's just thinking of it logically, which I probably should never do with this show. Not sure why the Deadite didn't just stay down or get up and be like, oh, it makes no sense. But he has to then kill his sister again, and yet another illogical thing, but hilarious nonetheless, is this guy just sits there and takes like a fucking fire hydrant of blood in the face and just continues to sit there for like 10 seconds as blood just keeps hitting him instead of course, getting out of the way. As Ash pins his sister down in the trunk of a car with only her head and maybe her arms exposed, and he cuts her fucking head off with a chainsaw. Great sequence, super graphic, always wonderful how much gore and graphic on-screen violence there is in this show. Absolutely love it. Chet unfortunately does pass on in this episode, which was a shame because I do like seeing Raimi there, but he does come back, not alive, but he does come back in the show. Spoilers for later episodes, but it's not really much of a spoiler because it's just kind of almost a cameo and he's not really alive. But he is dead, and then Baal takes and knocks out Ash, leading us into our next episode. So let's get there.